Have you ever felt your heart race before something important and not known if it was excitement or fear, or cried at something and not fully understood why? Or felt angry in a moment and later wondered where it came from? Emotions feel like they just happen to us, like they arrive from nowhere and we have no control over them. But that is not what is happening. Your brain is creating every emotion you feel, actively, in real time. And the way it does that is far more interesting and far more useful to understand than most people ever realize. For a long time, scientists believed that emotions came from one specific part of the brain, a group of structures called the limbic system, and that the thinking brain, the rational part, was completely separate, emotion on one side, reason on the other. But modern neuroscience has moved past this completely. Emotions are not produced by one isolated region. They come from many different parts of the brain working together, all at once. The emotional brain and the thinking brain are not separate. They are deeply connected, constantly talking to each other, and that connection is what shapes every emotion you feel. So which parts of the brain are involved? There are a few key ones. First, the amygdala. Think of this as the brain's alarm system. It detects anything emotionally important, especially danger or threat, and reacts before you are even consciously aware of it. This is why you can feel fear before your mind has figured out what scared you. Second, the prefrontal cortex. This is the part that helps regulate emotions. It looks at the situation, weighs up what is actually happening, and helps calm the alarm down. This is also why teenagers feel emotions so intensely. The prefrontal cortex is one of the last parts of the brain to fully develop. Third, the body itself. Emotions are not just in the head. The brain reads signals from the body, heartbeat, breathing, muscle tension, gut feelings, and uses all of that information to decide what emotion is being felt. The body and the brain are building the emotion together. Now here is the part that changes how most people think about emotions. A neuroscientist named Lisa Feldman Barrett spent decades researching how emotions are made, and her finding was this. Emotions are not fixed things that just happen to you. Your brain constructs them, in the moment, from scratch, every single time. Here is what that means. Your body produces a physical sensation, racing heart, tight chest, shallow breathing, and your brain looks at that sensation and asks, what is this? What does this mean right now? And based on your past experiences, the situation you are in, and the concepts you have learned, it builds an emotion to explain it. A racing heart before a job interview might become anxiety. The exact same racing heart before something exciting might become excitement. Same physical sensation, different emotion, because the brain constructed a different meaning for the same signal. So why does any of this matter? Because if emotions are constructed by the brain, that means they're not completely out of your control. When you feel anxious and you slow your breathing down, you are changing the physical signal the brain is reading. And the brain starts constructing a different emotion. When you reframe a situation, when you tell yourself this is exciting, not terrifying, you are giving the brain a different context to build from. And research shows this actually changes what the brain does. Not as a trick, not as positive thinking, as a real neurological shift. Understanding how emotions are made does not make them less real. It gives you more say in what happens next. Emotions are not random. They are not weaknesses. And they are not something that simply happens to you without any involvement from your brain. Your brain is actively building them, using your body, your memories, your past experiences, and the situation around you every single time you feel something. That does not mean emotions are easy to control, or that you should always try to, but it does mean this. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You are part of how they are made.